Hey guys, this is a little series of astrological videos about the sun's energies. This isn't necessarily about the sun sign, although you could really listen to that and link it to your sun sign. But you could also link any planet or point that aspects that sign or that is actually occupying that sign and pretty much get an idea of the average energy that this sign should have. I'll leave little link in the description box below if you want to see your own chart if you haven't done that yet. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the sign of Gemini, our messenger, our communicator, our mutable air sign. So first, I'm going to begin with what body part Gemini rules, or I'm not going to name them all because there's a bunch of glands that I don't really know. I don't have the medical knowledge for that. But actually Gemini rules both arms and hands. And it's funny that it's a dual sign or mutable sign and rules the first area of our body where we're actually split into two, right? If you're starting from the head, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and they also rule the lungs. So it's an air sign. It has a lot to do with communication, the mind, being able to share information and knowledge and processing that knowledge. And we often say that Gemini are twins or double-faced, but it's really because they always have more than one current of thought going at the same time, more than one air current going at the same time. And the fact that they are an air sign, and think about air is just everywhere, right? So they're really good at getting like information across, at making information travel. Really good also at writing and anything that deals with communication, like this little camera here. It's ruled by Gemini, or Mercury if you will, because Mercury is the planet of Gemini. People with Gemini traits will often be I would say easily excited, always on the lookout for something that'll stimulate them, always like they might not always be chatty, but in their mind there's always going to be like a whirlwind of information going on, and they're kind of looking to output that. And they're the third sign of the zodiac, so they're still kind of at the beginning of the cycle. And I think their interest for communication and knowledge has a lot to do with like understanding how people use their minds and what use the mind has in this world. And yeah, uh, I think Gemini people, or planets in Gemini, really help make good businessman and good any aspect of your life where you want to seem a certain way but still keep your secret card or your secret like weapon for yourself if you want. Gemini is really good at that because they'll communicate one aspect of themselves and they'll keep another aspect for themselves. So they're really good at just playing around. And sometimes Gemini energy can like to run around people's minds somehow and just see where like the mind of the person will end up, and that will help them understand how the mind works in human beings, because Gemini is the first actually human sign. And yeah, I feel like Gemini is also very flexible in a sense, and oftentimes you'll see them picking like the not necessarily picking, because they don't individualize themselves as much as other signs, or they don't give as much of an importance to it, but they'll give you like the flip side of the coin. You'll think that like there's a right way to do something, and Gemini will just come at you and be like, oh, but like what if blah 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 blah, and it doesn't really hold the ground. It doesn't really make sense. Nobody would really do that, but Gemini's job, I feel, is to bring that out and communicate it just so people can see kind of the flip side of the situation. Um, are they evil? Are they double-faced? I don't know. They haven't shown that to me yet, but I feel like it's a great energy if you want to communicate stuff. And I also feel that the knowledge and information that they get isn't really as deep as it could be, where they know a lot of stuff. They know a lot about a lot of stuff. They know a little bit about a lot of stuff. That's where I would say. Of course, like they can specialize into something and really be good at that. But I feel that oftentimes, like they'll know tiny bits of information about like everything, just so that they can like when they meet someone that they think this person's mind can like enrich their knowledge, you'll just throw this little bit of information. It can seem that they do this to seem interesting, but at the same time I think it's also to enrich their mind, you know. And since Gemini always looking to be flexible, I think they have to be careful not to give in to like you know, they have to remain flexible without giving in to their addictions and obsessions. It's it's not because you don't want to be bound by anything that you have to let yourself run loose and that you have like to eat all that crap and do all that stuff. You know, you have to take care of yourself. You have to give importance to your individuality and take care of that being, that thing only. Um, I like to think of Gemini energy, kind of like you're seeing someone with a strong Gemini or Gemini sun. Um, they kind of feel like they're a couple of their own, you know, like there's the dude and the girl at the same time, and you're talking to them, and you never really know if you're gonna get either the dude or the female, but they're like still this one entity, right? So that's kind of my take on Gemini. Gemini's color is yellowish orange, like a mostly I would say like a bright yellow, something that's like vivid and catches the eye, and it's kind of playful in a way because Gemini is really playful. Um, they have trouble keeping attention also, so hey, keep watching that video right now. They have trouble keeping attention a little bit, but it's because they have to be stimulated. So any planet that's in Gemini will be looking for stimulation or will really look for communications, and they like just to communicate, you know. And they're going to be sending like a text messages, letters, anything that really like enables them to share all this whirlwind of information they have in them. um, the opposite sign to Gemini is Sagittarius. Now I feel that like Sagittarius, which is a mutable sign also, so there's still this kind of duality, but it's a fire sign, so it has to do more with like the feelings, I feel. And Sagittarius is more focused on like something, you know, they're like shooting that arrow and they're going for it. They don't really know how the arrow is going to get there, but they're aiming for something. Whereas Gemini isn't really aiming for something. They're kind of like throwing a bunch of things and just analyzing where it'll go and how it'll play out. And that's kind of like Gemini's magic or Gemini's power. They rule like short travels or business trips or anything that's like going to make their life move forward in like little increments. Maybe it's just to change their minds, just to change the environment. They need new air, you know. Whereas Sagittarius would be more like, oh, I need to shoot that arrow and I'm aiming for Jupiter. I'm going far out there just because I have to travel. I have to know myself in another environment. Gemini is more into their, I wouldn't say maybe their routine. Yeah, maybe Gemini is a bit in their routine. They like when they've got their little airflow and they kind of know how it's going to end up because they're jungling with all those ideas, right? They got a bunch of ideas at the same time in little projects, and it's also why they make great business people, because they're always on the lookout for 10 things at the same time. So there's always a lot of possibilities for them. Um, Ruling the lungs and the arms, I think they have a lot of speech power. They can blah 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 blah. I'm kind of trying to like impregnate that energy as I'm like speaking to you guys, so you can kind of like try to get a feel for it. But Gemini's in my 12th house, so it isn't the most prominent energy that I have. Although my moon is in the 3rd house, which is the house of Gemini, but that's another series of video, right? Um, yeah, I feel like they're very talkative. They need stimulation. They need to stay focused at times, and yeah, I think they're just great friend because they kind of like break the mold without really knowing that they're doing so. They're just being themselves by not being really anything in particular. So that's what I had to say about Gemini. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, comment, do all that kind of stuff, because you know, it keeps me alive. Thank you.